Boom! We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. Well, folks, it is CyHawk week. It's crazy how fast the football season comes around as you get older, and these really important pivotal games occur. And we are already here, guys. We're already at CyHawk week, and it seems like just yesterday we were in the off season. This is a very interesting game for a few reasons. I think Iowa coming into this game, and of course, if there's any Iowa State fans that end up watching this video, of course, I am biased. I am an Iowa Hawkeye fan, but I will do my best to just present the stats and wait until the end to provide my opinion and thoughts on the game. But I think coming into this game, you have a team in Iowa State that does not have as high of preseason expectations as the Iowa Hawkeyes have. They were definitely hit by the gambling investigation, and sadly, so was the Iowa Hawkeyes. I mean, it's not much better for the Iowa Hawkeyes, as Iowa has and will be without two starters for the foreseeable future. Now, I think Jermari Harris will be back for week 3, their week 3 opponent, starting cornerback. And this does provide Iowa with an opportunity to build some depth at the defensive back position, which is good. But Iowa has lost 2 starters, Jermari Harris and Noah Shannon. So really, and when this was going on, it looked like Iowa was in much better shape with regards to the investigation than Iowa State was. But now, as things have unfolded, I mean, Iowa really has been hit just as hard as Iowa State. But nonetheless, Iowa State lost their starting quarterback in Hunter Deckers. A lot of people were excited about him and his upside, the southpaw out of West Sioux, Iowa. And they really have they're left with 2 totally untested, unproven quarterbacks. One, a true freshman in J.J. Cole, the son of Iowa State kicker, who runs the Cole Kicking Academy, and Rocco Becht. Really, really cool name, by the way, for a quarterback, Rocco Becht. I don't think it's as good as Cade McNamara, but I still think it's a pretty good, pretty cool name. So Iowa State had some uncertainty. They lost a few of their running backs. Jerrell Brock, did not see him present versus UNI. And they are also left with some young running backs in Eli Sanders and Cartavius Norton. So I think both of these 2 teams are coming into this game at different phases in their season. I think Iowa State is really just trying to get the goal should be to get their quarterbacks developed enough to be ready for the Big 12 football season and establish some depth at some of the positions that they lost. If you're Iowa, you're really looking to get this offense on track and hit Big Ten play in stride, because all of the talent is there. So we will take a look at the 2 teams' depth charts, look at some of their stats, and look at the one game that they've played. That's the one thing that's really difficult to provide an analysis on a game like this, is they've only played one game. And, if you're looking at it from the vantage point of Iowa does not tend to throw the entire playbook in week 1, and it's really hard to get a judgment or analysis, especially on the offense. But there are a few things that we do know with both teams, which I will delve into. By the way, if you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. I'd love for the channel to get to 2,000 subscribers. I started my first Big Ten Whip Around show. If you guys are interested in that, definitely go and check that out. It was fun to do. I've had a lot of comments stating that from other Big Ten programs that they would like for me to talk about other games other than the Iowa Hawkeyes. So I am testing it out and seeing how it will go. All right, guys, let's dive in and look at these two teams. And without further ado, let's get into this. In week one, Iowa State defeated Northern Iowa pretty easily. Now, I think the score is a tad bit deceiving. Iowa State, to tell you the truth, won this game like Iowa wins games, by having a few interceptions, pick sixes, and really, if you just looked at the score and didn't watch the game, you'd think that Iowa State had 400 yards of offense and, definitely a few passing touchdowns, things like that. But this was really a coming out party for their defense. They had an excellent game defensively. If you guys look at the team stats here, Iowa State only had 250 yards of total offense. It was really their defense that absolutely came to play. UNI had 279 yards total offense, and could only muster 9 points on the board, yards per play, 5.6, which actually isn't bad for Iowa State compared to UNI's 3.9. Iowa State only had 11 first downs compared to UNI's 19. But Iowa State was able to really keep the sheet clean. No turnovers, which is exactly what you want, especially with a young quarterback under center. Here are the player stats. We'll go ahead and take a look at Iowa State. Rocco Becht, I think if you're an Iowa State fan, you really could not have hoped for a better first game, okay? He didn't have a ton of passing yards, 113, but he was over, my guess is he was over 60% passing percentage. 10 of 13 is a really good completion to attended percentage, and two tubs, you can't beat it. That's not bad at all for a redshirt freshman quarterback starting in his first ever college football game. Cartavius Norton, 49 yards. Abu Sama, very interesting. He was a late riser on the recruiting trail out of Southeast Polk. Of course, Southeast Polk had Xavier Wanpa come through the ranks, committed to Iowa, balling out with Iowa. And of course, Caden Proctor, who was committed to Iowa all the way up until the final day in which he chose the Alabama Crimson Tide. Still hurts to this day. And I think a lot of that had to do with Abu Sama being seen more as a DB rather than a running back. And he is definitely going to start out as a running back for the Iowa State Cyclones. Really good stat line, 6.7 yards per carry, 40 yards on 6 carries. Cartavius Norton, 11 carries for 49 yards. I mean, the guy with the most, I guess, veteranship would be Eli Sanders. Jerrell Brock, like I said, who was supposed to be the heir apparent at the running back position, he's not here. So I'm going to take a look at that real quick. So I have this article here, and it says 7 more college football players, including Iowa State starting running back Jerrell Brock, were charged on Thursday, August 10th, with tampering of records in the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigations probe into sports wagering at in-state universities. Iowa State defensive lineman Isaiah Lee, tight end Deshaun Hanukkah, and offensive lineman Jacob Rensbergs, all starters in 2022, were charged along with Brock. Lee, as of Monday, is no longer with the Cyclones football team. So, and then, of course, Iowa had guys that were charged. I think, it would have been a lot worse for Iowa had, guys like Arlen Bruce stayed with the program. Of course, he went to Oklahoma State. We'll see if he's ever able to play a football game again. So there you guys have it. Jerrell Brock was supposed to be the start. I was really trying to see if there was any other running back that was on the roster that may be the starting tailback for Iowa State. So I wanted to pull this up really quickly. This is Iowa State's kind of stats from last year. And I think you got to take it with a grain of salt. I think it plays somewhat of a factor in kind of seeing what Iowa State is trying to improve upon this season. They went 4-8, 101st out of 131. Conference, they went 1-8. They scored 242 points a game, 20.2, 114th of 131. Shockingly, that's actually worse than Iowa, or it's just as bad. And I did not expect that. That is incredible. The two in-state Iowa programs absolutely need to be better offensively. But, of course, they had a really good defense. 20.2 opponents' points per game, 18th out of 131 teams. These were the stats. Rocco Becht looks like he did have some action last year, completing 7 passes, 7 out of 15 passes, 46.7%. Definitely a big loss. I mean, Hunter Deckers, 19 tubs, 14 INTs, 3,044 yards, 66.1% passing completion. I mean, you could make the case that he was in line for a breakout season this year, having a 20-plus touchdown, less than 15 INTs type season, 3,000-plus yards. Jerrell Brock was the leading rusher last year, 445 yards, 4.5 yards a carry. Eli Sanders had 197 yards, 47 attempts. Cartavius Norton had 87 attempts, 312 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. Let's take a look at Deion Silas here. Wonder where he is at, if he is still on the program. No, it's like Silas is at Rhode Island now. So there you guys have it. So we have figured that out. These were the stats really quickly from you and I. Benjamin Brahmer, true freshman out of the state of Nebraska. Not sure whether Iowa State sees him as a wide receiver. I guess we'll see when we look at the depth chart. 1 reception, 36 yards. Easton Dean, 321 for 21. Tyler Moore, 2 for 19. Jalen Noel had a pretty quiet day. Gabe Burkle, 1 for 5, tight end. And here are the defensive stats. And if you guys want to go check that out, you absolutely can, or just pause it on that. Really quickly, we can take a look at Iowa football stats versus Utah State. Iowa almost had 300 yards of total offense, almost 200 yards of passing yards, rushing yards 88. That definitely has to improve. I said last week that Iowa needs to get that number, at least for the team rushing, to about 100. There are the first downs. Not a terrible offensive day. I think comparatively, it's at least slightly better than what Iowa State did last week. And player stats here: Cade McNamara, 2 touchdowns, 17 to 30, almost 200 yards passing. Caleb Johnson, 19 carries, 63 yards. I would love to see Caden Wetschgen get incorporated into this offense more. He has the speed. I would love for Iowa. I don't know what Iowa has done with the Wildcat offense. And really, because during the years of Tyrone Tracy and Amir Smith-Marset and Tyler Goodson, Iowa would use those kind of scat back type guys where you didn't know if it was going to be a run play or a pass play. And it almost always worked. And we saw last week against Utah State, Caden Wetschgen went for a strong run in his end around. So I would love to see him get more involved, maybe even in the punt game as well, or the return game rather. So we'll see what happens there. Luke Lachey had a good day. Seth Anderson had a decent first game. All right, guys, here is the depth chart for both teams. I was kind of hoping that we would have the depth chart released by the time I made this video. By the way, guys, happy Labor Day. Thank you to all you amazing veterans that have served this great country. We really appreciate it, and God bless you. Here is the depth chart for Iowa State. That's the defense there. Not a ton of shakeup. Looks like Iowa State sees Benjamin Brahmer as a tight end. So that is good to know. Cartavius Norton is the leading running back, but I think we're going to see a lot more of Abu Sama. I really do, and especially against Iowa, if Eli or Cartavius are not getting the job done, we will certainly see Abu get in there. That is Iowa State's depth chart. Here's Iowa's depth chart. I would love to see Caleb Brown get more involved in the passing game. We'll see what Iowa settles with on the offensive line, but this was something that was pointed out by one of the Blackheart Gold Pants writers. Something that Iowa has done of late, and I think they do this to try and build depth and get reps, is they are okay playing multiple different offensive line units throughout the course of a game. And the reality is that when you run the type of offense that Iowa runs, you need to develop cohesion. And it's very hard to do that when you are not giving all your reps to one unit, and certainly not over the course of one game, and seeing how they fare. So, but I don't think that that's going to change. I think we'll see the exact same thing with Iowa State. If the initial group is not getting the job done, we will definitely see multiple offensive line groupings, and I still think that the offensive line group that it needs to be is Mason Richman, left tackle, Nick DeYoung, Rusty Feth, left tackle, Logan Jones, center, Connor Colby, right guard, and Jennings Dunker / Dejon Parker, as I keep dropping my pen, as the tackle, right tackle. And who by midseason, whoever looks better should have the starting role. This is the defensive line depth chart. Very interesting to see there. I was interested to see that TJ Hall did not get more action. I think he has more upside than Deshaun Lee, but I actually think Deshaun Lee had a really good first game. Iowa State will definitely test him just like Utah State did, but I think he is ready to go. All right, guys, last thing here. I'm not going to show the Pro Football Focus grades because we only have 1 week of action. Here are the team stats after one game. We have Iowa and Iowa State in the, I'd say, bottom quarter. Iowa State has the 67th best scoring offense, and Iowa has tied for the 78th best scoring offense. Okay. Nothing crazy, of course. Let's take a look at the scoring defense. Actually, you know what? We'll look at rushing defense. I want to see that. I want to see those stats. Wow, I did not see Iowa in the top 50. What is going on? Wow. Iowa State 53rd, Iowa 65th, They gave up 116 yards on the ground. They will definitely have to improve that 100%. Go ahead and see the scoring defense here. Iowa State, 26th. Iowa gave up a late touchdown with their second unit. Iowa is tied for 40th. So, but like I said, guys, this is week 1. You're not going to see a ton of crazy, accurate team stats. It's only 1 week. You start to really see the crystallization of these team stats after about week 3. All right, guys, let's get into my game analysis and my game prediction here. As I said at the top of this video, ultimately, I think that these two teams are coming into this game at 2 different points. I think Iowa State is really just trying to get this development, get their team developed, ready for Big 12 play, especially at the quarterback and running back positions, due to losing some of their starters from a season ago. Iowa State's defense, I fully expect to be at least serviceable, above average. To me, an above average unit is top 25 at any particular group. But ultimately, Iowa has the better team, top to bottom. They have the more talent of the two teams. Iowa has an elite defense. They have an elite special teams. There was some things that need to be cleaned up from last week. Iowa is going to have to pick or fix the punting situation. Last week, the punting game, not because of Torrey Taylor, but the blocking was a little bit shaky. And in a game like the CyHawk rivalry, you have to shore that up. You cannot have that sort of problem. You just cannot have it. This game will be played in Ames, which of course will help the Iowa State Cyclones. Iowa, as I said, will have to, fix their rush defense. They gave up far too much against Utah State. They will have to shore that up. They will have to make the day long and miserable for Rocco Becht, and, just make it tough sledding for the offense to move the ball. I think really how this game will play out is Iowa will score a touchdown or some points early. They will stall, but then as the game wears on, their defense will continue to bear down on Iowa State, and Iowa will be able to score some points late. I think if Iowa is able to score between 22 and 26 points, I think that this will be a fairly easy victory for them. But of course, there's no guarantee. Iowa State, I would not be surprised if they are a 500 type team this year. I do think that they have at least some talent on their roster. A lot of their success this year will depend on the development of the quarterback and running back position. Can they get those guys ready for Big 12 play? With that being said, I feel very good about Cade McNamara taking a step forward this upcoming week against Iowa State. The key to the game is absolutely getting Caleb Johnson on track. If he has a 100-yard rushing game, Iowa wins this game, no problem. And really, really hope that Iowa can get this offense on track and score over 25 points. I am going to pick Iowa to win this game 22-12. I think that there's not a ton of scoring in this game. I think Iowa still comes up short of the 25-point offensive average, but I do think that they still win by double digits just because of how dominant Iowa's defense is. Punting is winning, of course, and Iowa will get the victory. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Who do you guys predict to win this game? What are your keys to the victory for either Iowa State or the Iowa Hawkeyes? Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you guys want to donate to the channel, Cash App, PayPal link are in the description box. And last but not least, DBAP, Don't be a pussy willow. In facts or feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you guys. See you amazing Hawkeye fans next time. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Labor Day weekend. See you guys next time. Go Hawks.